So you're gonna need one of these. It's a spark plug gapping tool. They sell them at the auto parts stores. Pretty cheap. They're like $2 each. So first things first, remove your negative battery terminal. Just take it off. Put it somewhere where it's not gonna touch anything. Right there. Boom. Right, so we're good. And it might be different for yours, but these have a 4-cylinder engine, right? So I have 4 cylinders, which means I have 4 spark plugs. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, with a Sharpie, I like marked which ones are in which position. 2, 3, 4. That way, when I like take them off, I don't mix them up and get confused. All right. So what you do is you go and snap these. Hear the little snaps. Okay. And you can take them off, right? And boop. Okay. Then right here, you have to unscrew these. This is for my Honda though. Yours might be a little different. So once you unscrew these, just collect them somewhere so you don't lose them. Okay. So then these should come out. You should hear like a little popping sound. All right. So this is mine. These are ignition coils. This is what mine look like. It's kind of dirty, but the car is kind of old, so it's fine. As you can see from the tip, it's not that dirty. It's got little burn marks on it, but you can just wipe it off. But yeah, it doesn't look too bad. And inside, right there, is the spark plug. It might be tricky to pull it out because you have to use a ratchet to get in there. And then like the tricky part is like pulling it out since it's so deep inside. Another thing though, like try to clean the area around the spark plug entrance, the hole. That way like no trash goes inside, because like that leads directly into your engine and you don't want anything to go inside. Let's pull them up. 2, 3, and 4. All right. Okay, so this is 1. This is 2. Looks clean. 3, very clean. 4, I don't know. 4 is looking kind of dirty. Make a mental note that 4 is kind of dirty. It might have to be replaced. So if I ever have a P0300 code like you got, it might be this guy right here. So now you just loosen them. Boom. Shouldn't be too tight. You can loosen them by hand. Boop. All right, kiddo. So I had a special tool. It was like one of these sockets. It had like a rubber thing inside that would stick onto these and just like suck them out, but like it broke somehow. So I'm using these needle nose pliers to take them out. Okay. Oh boy, look at this, huh? It's kind of dirty. Might have to replace this one. This one. This one. Second one. Try that again. Okay. It's 3. Next kind of burned. It's 4. Oops. Got it. Okay. 4. Let me try this one. That's 2. Okay, so this is the first one. It's kind of burned. second one. Third one. Fourth one. Yeah, this one's really dirty. So like it has a lot of soot, a lot of carbon buildup at the end. Alright, so just to recap. Alright, so this comes into play when you buy your spark plugs. Usually they already come like pre-measured, so sometimes you don't need this tool, but wouldn't hurt to have it just in case. So every car is different. For my Honda, the gapping for the spark plugs is 0.039-ish. So the way this works is you slide it right here and it gets thicker and thicker and thicker the more you go down there. I'm trying to do this with one hand. One second. So So start off right here, you go down to your designated, like specified measurement. So let me see. Okay, so right now this thing is kind of big. It's over 0.04. So I'm gonna try to make the gap smaller. In 1 sec. Okay. So you do this is by hitting it against something hard. So we're gonna bend this top part right here. Okay, let's check it again. Okay, now it's at like 0.040. Try to go a little bit tighter. But yeah, every car is different. Every car has a different gap for the spark plugs. To give you an example of how to start it, let's say it's like really tight, right? And you need it to go to 0.040. So what you do is you wiggle this around, right? By doing that, it gets wider and wider. But don't do it too much or it's gonna open too much. All right, so once you get the gap, let's drop them back in. Oop. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Grab your tool and you tighten them in as much as you can with your hand. Don't use the ratchet. Okay, last one. Let's go. All right, so tighten up by hand. Boom, boom, boom. Good to go. Now I use the ratchet to tighten it a little bit more. Don't go crazy. You don't want to break it and like get it stuck in there. So tight. 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 Okay. You don't have to use 2 hands for this, just as tight as you can with your hand. That's it. Next we pop these back in, right? Again, these are the ignition coils, right? So try to clean them up as much as you can. That way, what these do, right? Spark plugs, they get a current flowing through them, and inside of the engine, fuel, gasoline gets sprayed inside. And since the spark plugs, hence their name, create a spark, it ignites the gasoline and it causes little explosions inside the car. Boom, 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 boom. You can't hear them because of the muffler. It muffles the sound. So that's why they're a thing. But these things right here, ignition coils, they create the spark. They create the spark and it goes through the spark plug. If these don't work, the spark plug doesn't spark and just gas just fills up that little chamber and it doesn't like evaporate from the explosions. so it just like collects in there. So that's what these do. Put these back in. That's 4, 3. Ooh. Try to line them up with that little screw right there. Okay. 2. Go. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 4. There we go. Let's make sure they go in all the way. There we go. Okay. Let's go. Now we clip these back on. Clip. Clip. Gotta hear the little clip sound. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Oh, it's back. Okay. Okay. Good. 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 Snug. Perfect. Okay. Tights. Tights. Tight. Tight. So that's how you swap out spark plugs. Yeah. So as you can see, my ignition coils were fine. Like, they weren't too dirty. They weren't really burned. Yours might look different, and your whole setup might be different. But yeah, it's pretty simple. So once you're done with your spark plugs, hold that for me. Reconnect your negative battery terminal and tighten it up. Okay, tighten it up to the point where you can't remove it with your hand and it doesn't wiggle around. Because if you hit a speed bump and your battery jumps up, it's gonna disconnect and your car is gonna fucking stop on you. So, the most important part, tools, right? What do you need? You need a ratchet, any ratchet. It doesn't matter what size to drive. And you need a socket. What I have done is I bought a set, right? I bought this set. And I bought this set of like smaller stuff. I rarely use these because for car parts, you no, actually like the long sockets and like the short sockets, they actually do like come in clutch, you know, depending on what you're doing. These are usually for like really tight areas when you're working like in here, you know. You can't use like these really long ones for this big, like tiny space. Okay, another thing you need extensions. These are ratchet extensions. I can't stress how much you need these. Like, they're kind of expensive. They're like 20 bucks for one that has like a lifetime guarantee. This is Duralast. They do clutch though, because sometimes you need to like get deep in here and you can't really like put your whole hand in here. So these do come in clutch. I have a few. I have 3 of these. And I have used all 3 to like work under my car to get like length. But yeah, so you need a ratchet, right? Preferably like a longish one. See like how big it is in my hand? Like 2 of my hands, right? Yeah, the longer it is, the more like force you can put behind it. But if you're working on like spark plugs, like delicate things, you don't need that much force. All right, so ratchet, extensions. I need one of these sockets. This socket cost me like 25 bucks. It's specially for spark plugs. It had like a rubber thing inside, but somehow it like fell out. And yeah, so it's kind of trash. To get the spark plugs out, you can use like needle nose pliers if you have any laying around. I have used in an emergency when I didn't have this, like tweezers for your eyebrows and stuff. Yeah, and you also need like a 10 millimeter little socket for the battery. Well, my battery at least. It might be a different size for yours. But yeah, that's all you need for this. Again, you should buy your own tools if you plan on working on your car. That way you can like check little shit like this, right? For example, like if you had a problem with your ignition coils and you weren't sure what it is, you go to a shop and you're like, hey, can you check like what's up with my car? and they check this, and if it's not this problem right here, if it's not the ignition coils or the spark plugs, they're gonna charge you just to like open this shit up a little bit, you know? They're gonna charge you for that. And at least this way, when you have your own tools, you can like eliminate this possibility, right? And they don't charge you for it. But yeah, this way you get to learn how to work on your own car, and you save money that way. Okay, hope you're doing all right, and I miss you.